Hey guys, welcome to here, and today we're discussing the Montana. Now, this is an interesting boat indeed. First mod, I recommend AA actually. Secondaries could work. Main battery, probably not what you want, but AA gun mods is actually not bad. AA is pretty meaty with it, and realistically, secondaries aren't that amazing on this boat, so yeah, why not? You know, there's no real damage in it. Anyway, speaking of this, propulsion mod or damage control, probably propulsion mod, it's such a useful tool, but damage control is certainly a viable option. Target acquisition, we're going to discuss it. And artillery plotting or main battery mod, really. Artillery plotting is such a nice upgrade. 11% dispersion is so nice. Let's talk about this armor scheme. It's a very controversial armor scheme. 32 bounce there, nothing really to look at. Armor though, typically to protection 25. You've got purple armor. Very, very good armor. Which means this is really, really hard to penetrate and you will bounce and shatter a lot of shells. This is just the armor. The citadel as well, if you take that off, is additionally armored at the front and at the sides. The top is very fragile. That is something to be aware. Very squishy. But the side armor and the frontal citadel as well is incredibly thick armor, 400 plus, which means angling will give you dividends upon dividends on using this boat. Obviously this thing is an Iowa with an extra turret that has some steroids pumped in. Commander, typical accuracy commander here, if you recommend it. I do recommend this actually. I think it's pretty good. I swapped out Paolo di Revel for Azurline Scharnhorst. Honestly, I found accuracy works more, but you could spec into a reload build. The Montana has a very good reload, and you could spec into this. So you could go double reload using Paolo, and then Ding or Shang with the new Pan Nation commander reduces reload. So both are very viable options. Yeah, Paolo di Revel. There we go. So yeah, realistically, amazing armor. What this means from this armor scheme is you will either get shatters, bounces, or penetrations. You will very, very, very unlikely get many overpens across this ship. If you actually manage to penetrate and hit the Montana, you're either going to get a pen, you're going to get a shatter, or a bounce. The overpen will be just a superstructure. So yeah, without ado, let's get into a match here. As I said, this thing's armor scheme is bonkers. Angling will give you so much value. It's insane. Such a good armor scheme. Don't let anyone tell you different. Okay, it's either you bounce or you take major damage. So, you know, for a battleship, what more could you ask for? It basically rewards good play, and because you're not really going to get overpenned, it basically means that you are going to get punished heavily when you give the broadside or give too much angle. That being said, again, that kind of should be the case. It's not Russian per se, but you do have a meaty health pool, you've got meaty heals, and you've got those Iowa guns. Now, for legendary tier, the Iowa guns are not as strong as other guns, other battleship guns at legendary tier, but Iowa guns still pack one hell of a punch. As an example there, unfortunately not the Death Strike, but it is a Wichita, so, you know, it's a bit optimistic. We did get broadside to the Massa, so as you see, he doesn't overpen, he gets pens. Now, we gave enough angle, we bounce absolutely everything. That's the armor scheme of the Montana. And realistically, what sells this boat is the amazing armor scheme. The Iowa guns are obviously amazing. You get an extra turret, you've got a lot of guns, and you have 5 spotter planes. Also, look at that accuracy. This is really with a high level accuracy commander, so that is be aware of that. And yeah, these are the Iowa guns. I guess you could work into a little bit of penetration, but then again, Yamato can be a little bit annoying to get a citadel on. Now there's a DD there. We probably should be shooting that. I'm also about, if you didn't know, I'm in division here with Mr. E being wiped out. And it looks like we're not going to get the shot now. Fletcher, so we should be Iowa. Yamato, sorry. I don't know if he's going forward, he might not be. This looks pretty good. He looks like he's stationary. Bit odd, but there we go. Yeah, decent hits. bounce off the turret. Oh god, we lost our Shimikaze, just dev struck that Vladivostok. That's unfortunate. Massa's playing very passive, and yeah, we're just holding our ground here. Montana is really, you want to bide your time, and then you want to wait for the right opportunity to push in and engage a little bit. This Yamato is perfectly still. Hopefully she gets something really good to this guy. But yeah, as I say, Montana can push early on, but I recommend sitting back, angling, drawing some fire from your team. That's a pretty nice shot. And it could be better though. I still think the Iowa guns are, at least it lacks a little bit of penetration that you're kind of used to at legendary tier, you know. But it's just not bad. But as I was saying, sorry, the Montana playstyle, I would recommend passive-ish playstyle at first, trying to tank some damage, stay angled, use your very good armor scheme to encourage people to try and shoot and bounce off you, and late game or mid game you start pushing, you really focus on the key areas of the map that really need attention. So Miss White takes out Fletcher, that's great. I think I should be the most biggest pocket of resistance here is the top right hand side. There's only 3 ships on the other side, and we just lost the DD. Probably the biggest. What is he doing there? Archulus getting a little bit too close. Yeah, biggest pocket of enemy ships is on the far right hand side. That being said, ooh, that's nice. That being said, they do have the enemy DD on the left hand side, so it depends on how valuable he is going to be for this game. So we're a little bit far back, so we're trying to get back into the mix here. As you see, we've tanked a fair bit of damage here, and we've been quite influential. We've taken out a Yamato, we've done some decent damage elsewhere, so we're trying to push up here and get into the game here really. That being said, the enemy team is playing quite passive, and there's no real incentive to push them just right now, even on points, and we've still got plenty of opportunities, plenty of targets before we have to push in too much. That being said, we are going to push in. You definitely want a slow creep of the Montana. That is definitely something you could do. Yeah, pretty good. I noticed there's not as many citadels as I would like, but I think you got to pay something for this incredibly well armored and just really strong ship. It really just takes a lot of legendary tiers and puts them to shame. Like, if the Yamato was as accurate as this would be an absolute beast. This thing is definitely tankier than a GK when angled, because the GK has a massive superstructure. This thing is not as easy to farm. It's actually pretty difficult to farm. It does have superstructure, yes, but the armor scheme in this thing is so good for battleships. It basically rivals the Russians for best armor scheme for the battleships, because of course the Russians have the reduced superstructures and basically the icebreakers and so forth. Angling, assuming the Yamato doesn't go straight for your bow, even if he does, well angled Montana should do a really reasonably good job at bouncing a lot. That being said, when he does hit you, it will pen. That is guaranteed. So yeah, as I said, angling will is your best friend. Take 8k there, but he did kind of plunge into our deck there, and as you saw, the Citadel and the Sarah scheme is kind of fragile, so you got to be careful about plunging fire. That's why I say you got to slow creep, try and push in before they know it. The enemy team, that is, you're pretty much on top of them and getting some good brawls. And that being said, I'm trying to think of the right target to shoot here. We could shoot this Massa, but he is a little bit angled and he is kiting away. I kind of want to shoot that cruiser. Oh, there's a Yamato that's backing up, even better. Also, we're giving him broadside. He's not noticing us, so we need to be really careful and get rid of him. That shot looks like it's so nice. It's so beautiful. Also, just having, it's a lot of guns, I feel, and it's such a satisfying experience, the Montana. Honestly, it's such a nice ship. If you haven't looked at it for a battleship, definitely look into it. It's such a fun boat. It can brawl, it can play support, and it can certainly tank if properly angled. That was HE from the Alaska. AP could have done something because it's Alaska and AP is absolutely bonkers with pen angles, but yeah, accurate shells as well. 4 hits on a partially angled, almost bow tanking actually, Alaska. Yeah, now he's bow tanking. And we did a decent amount of damage to him. We also damaged his gun. I'm not sure if we broke it. We might, I don't know. And we're also up to 167k damage. We're doing a respectable amount. We are down by 20 points, but we're going to see what we can do to try and take down this Alaska a notch or two. Now, we've got the AP loaded because this is a big ass Montana with 60-inch guns, and maybe we could do something to his gun turret. There we go. We can switch to AT here. Obviously we can't pen the bow of the Alaska, but we certainly can pen the superstructure. Let's switch to AP. I'm not too fussed about it, I'm not too worried about it. Oh, he's going for someone else. I think maybe the Richelieu if he's still alive. Anyway, right now I think I make a little bit of a mistake here. I probably should just keep pushing here, but hey, it's hindsight is 2020. You really could, again, slow pushing is what you should recommend doing here. The base is getting captured. Oh, there we go. We break his gun turret apparently, one of them, and that's the enemy DD. And of course, EB Whiteout is aware of this. Shimikaze is proving his worth in terms of value. Unfortunately, I am still a very slow battleship. It's not that slow. It goes like 27, I believe. But I think the Club Air is much more suited towards that task, so I trust Mr. Whiteout to go and take out the enemy destroyer. That being said, if I can get into the mix and get rid of that enemy radar cruiser, plus that enemy battleship who's pushing in, secondary focused, let's see what we can do to him. As you see, angled Massa, slapping down that superstructure, we get 5 penetrations, we're already up to 190k damage. We're really pumping at the damage here. I feel we could have pushed a little bit more aggressively, and that may have helped us out a bit more, but hey, we're going to do what we can. And this Massa here is going to open up on the side, which means he's probably going to give a nice big juicy broadside, so let's see if we can hold our fire and get a really nice shot with this Massa. He looks a little bit hesitant though, but he is going to push in. This is where we push in here. We're going to wait for the right shot. We have a Massa 4 kilometers away. We fire the guns and we get a really bad salvo. Really bad salvo. I don't know if he had time to angle there. I don't think he did. But obviously now he's angled, but that was a little bit rough. RNG just said no. Basically, we got another shot here. Try and use the spotter plane for this one. He's even turning here, which is basically raising his ship, giving it a bigger citadel. We aim low and actually shoots high, so a bit odd there. Now he's fully angled and we kind of caught into a position where we really shouldn't be. Retrospect, I think he died to the first salvo. I honestly thought the Massa at 4.4 kilometers giving broadside would be dead to 12 16-inch guns, but no, unfortunate. So do we have one salvo? Decent shot. Are we going to get our final salvo or before we go out? And no. We probably could kill the Massa after that salvo, but unfortunate. So 240k, and this is a it's a pretty rough game in terms of for actually winning the game, but I think 240k is pretty respectable amount of damage, and considering the situation we were in, we tanked for a little bit, and I hope this helps you guys out. I could put I'm going to put other videos on the Montana as well. I've got multiple 200k or close to it games as well. This thing's an absolute beast. It's just insane. I really think it's a strong ship. Mr. Pure wiped out. He's fighting 2 radar cruisers and a secondary battleship, because obviously the Massa's got the most accurate secondaries in the game, I believe. So yeah, pretty rough for him. And of course he's in the Club Air, which now has 6 kilometers to beat us, which means he needs to get danger close to the Wichita, danger close to Alaska, and if either or spot him while the Massachusetts is in secondary range, it could really hurt. So he's pretty much he's gonna have a rough day. That being said, it's up to him to what he does right now, and we'll have to see if he can pull this off. But while he's doing this and doing his malakis, yeah, I think it's a really strong boat. Probably could use a bit more pen for legendary tier, but I do think it's a very strong boat. Maybe invest a bit more into penetration, because it does feel a little bit lackluster. We do get the citadels with their right broadside, but sometimes you don't always get opportunity, which means you need a little bit more penetration to get those citadels instead. Now, I don't think Mr. Whitehead carries this. No, he goes down to the Wichita, and that's unfortunately a loss. But I thought it was a very good showcase of what the Montana can do and what insane damage and just insane tank ability. It's such a good pull. It really is. We tried. We got a little bit too aggressive at the end. RNG kind of screwed us with that Massachusetts shot. Maybe if we killed him, we could have maybe rammed the other Massa and maybe got a couple more shots on the Wichita and maybe carried that game. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, I will catch you guys on the flip side. Thank you very much guys for watching. Also, let me know your thoughts on what you think the Montana is and what do you think it's going to be. So yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye for now.